Hello Dropout, should you manage to resolve this query within 40 minutes, I will reward you with a $150,000 bonus. Failure to do so will result in your termination. These were the dramatic words uttered by Victor, the head of our department, during a compulsory training session that we, the employees at the company's headquarters, were attending. His statement instantly ignited a wave of excitement throughout the spacious conference room that served as our training venue. This was particularly intriguing to many, given the odd nature of the training, which involved tackling challenging questions akin to those found in prestigious university entrance exams. Victor singled me out with a notably tough question, leaving a poor impression on everyone. His offer of an unattainable $150,000 bonus was perceived by all as a clear act of harassment. While other department heads attempted to intervene, Victor remained unbothered, confidently asserting that I would fail regardless. However, they overlooked the true concern. The company, a well-regarded and major corporation, owned a conference room capable of holding approximately 200 employees and was expected to uphold compliance standards, which Victor seemed to blatantly ignore. In frustration and with pent-up stress, I exhaled deeply and began to address the problem with confidence, unaware of how this event would pivotally affect both Victor's and my career trajectories. My name is Frank, and I've reached the age of 32 this year. My career path has been unstable, with over 5 job changes, often due to either perceived incompetence or difficulty in meshing well with colleagues, leading to my resignation from each position. Currently, I'm in my 6th job, marking one of my longer stints, and I hope to maintain this role for a substantial period. However, I sensed this stability might be short-lived, mainly because of my ongoing conflicts with Victor from the international sales department, where I work. Despite my belief in being better suited for roles requiring less interaction, I often find myself in high-profile departments like international business, which presents challenges. Victor, who takes pride in his prestigious university degree, harbors a bias, believing those without college degrees to be lazy failures. This bias is particularly directed at men, while he also demeans academically successful women by claiming that higher education detracts from their attractiveness. My disdain for Victor is not only due to his prejudiced mindset, but also for numerous other reasons. Despite being over 50 and single, he brags about his appeal to women and frequently makes inappropriate remarks to female colleagues. In an era where compliance is paramount, his reckless behavior and crude jokes cause discomfort among female staff. He undermines male employees without degrees either by taking credit for their achievements or blaming them for his failures. This disregard for others, especially when taking credit for someone else's work, reflects a profound absence of integrity. Victor, who holds a particular contempt for me, often makes snide remarks, questioning how someone with my educational background could land a role in such a prestigious department, insinuating I use deceitful tactics. I'm perplexed by his assumption that I'm a middle school dropout. More so, I abhor being perceived as someone who resorted to unscrupulous means to secure my position. Ideally, I would have preferred a supportive role, such as in accounting or administration, over a high-visibility one like international business. However, we don't always get to choose our department, so we must excel in the roles we're assigned, right? Much to Victor's chagrin, he relegated me to menial tasks, such as photocopying and data entry. While I didn't mind the tasks themselves, preferring to work quietly and independently, his efforts to undermine me, including spilling coffee on documents or kicking my chair during data entry, were beyond tolerable. Fortunately, my colleagues recognized and supported me, even commending my accuracy despite these disruptions. Rebecca, a peer, trusted me significantly, often seeking my advice on work-related matters, much to Victor's dismay. Unlike with other highly educated female staff, Victor refrains from demeaning comments towards Rebecca, likely because of his favoritism towards her, a sentiment not reciprocated by Rebecca, who arguably harbors the strongest dislike for him in the department. It's understandable, given his unwelcome advances despite their significant age difference. Rebecca's beauty is renowned within the company, and rumors suggest she was frequently approached during her student years, though these are unconfirmed stories. Her consultations with me, whom Victor disparagingly views as a middle school dropout, only intensify his jealousy and lead to further harassment. In front of female colleagues, he mockingly labels me as an uneducated dropout and falsely attributes mistakes to me, aiming to undermine my evaluations. However, Victor's attempts are futile, as his disdainful behavior only diminishes his reputation further among our team. My colleagues suggest I confront him, but I see no value in engaging with his baseless accusations, fearing it would only exacerbate the situation. My silence, however, proved to be a mistake as Victor's harassment escalated, culminating in a significant incident during a company-wide employee training session. This annual event, led by different department heads each year, is designed to enhance employee skills. This year, under Victor's direction, the training inexplicably involved tackling challenging university entrance exam questions, puzzling many due to the difficulty level, even for college graduates. In America, which boasts the highest standard deviation score, employing a test does not seem to enhance employee skills. When other department heads expressed their concerns, Victor retorted, "No matter the age, studying is important. We mustn't forget the importance of effort." However, if the goal is to foster a culture of effort, testing appears futile. Tests, especially entrance exams, are designed to assess abilities, not cultivate them. The training, seemingly devised for Victor to assert his superiority over those he views as academically inferior, thankfully does not impact employee evaluations, making the inability to solve the problems inconsequential. While some employees engaged with the questions out of nostalgia, the majority quickly abandoned the effort, recognizing its futility. Achieving a perfect score would yield no accolades, leading to a widespread loss of motivation. In a different context, such as a college entrance or job examination, everyone would undoubtedly make an earnest effort, even if the material was beyond their grasp. However, in a training session intended to improve skills, the absence of tangible benefits renders the exercise pointless. Victor, observing the employees' lack of engagement, mocked them for forgetting the importance of effort. Despite knowing they would face ridicule, the employees of the International Business Department feigned effort on the problems. Yet, Victor continued to belittle them, questioning how individuals incapable of solving simple problems could manage international business tasks. It was clear he relished demeaning others with his snide comments. As Victor, acting like an exam proctor, approached me, he handed me a document written in French, leaving me bewildered about the expected response. With a smug grin, he challenged, "If you can answer this in 30 minutes, I'll give you a $150,000 bonus. But if you can't, you're fired." A murmur spread through the conference room, now a training venue, as everyone was taken aback by his statement during a company-wide training. Other department heads intervened, but Victor remained unmoved. Releasing my pent-up stress with a heavy sigh, I reviewed the document. Within 5 minutes, I had addressed the question, translating a lengthy French passage that included challenging or unfamiliar words, likely intentional neologisms. My familiarity with French phonics enabled me to navigate the translation without being hindered by these unknown terms. Astonished, Victor compared my translation to the model answer, visibly shaken. "When will the bonus be deposited?" I inquired with a smile, not truly expecting the bonus but unwilling to let Victor exploit the training session to target me merely for being reserved. While I anticipated some level of harassment, this incident was beyond the pale. However, I couldn't overlook Victor exploiting the valuable training time, which was meant for skill improvement, to feed his sense of superiority. Normally, I am not someone driven by a strong sense of justice. I prefer to live my life peacefully. Yet, it seems I had reached my limit with the constant harassment, having accumulated significant stress without fully realizing it. How can a dropout like you solve a problem that I couldn't? Victor's inability to solve the problem was revealed, and he was unable to accept that I had succeeded. Dropout? I graduated from Oxford University, you know. I have been mistakenly labeled a dropout multiple times, but I am not one. This misunderstanding likely stemmed from Victor's initial judgment based on my frequent job changes, branding me a troublemaker. However, the companies listed in my employment history are all reputable firms. Victor must have questioned the educational background of someone who doesn't stick with jobs yet works at renowned companies each time. Indeed, my education section only listed up to middle school because my school is not in the United States, making me, in the U.S., a middle school graduate. In the self-promotion section, I noted that I moved to the UK for high school and stayed through college. Victor likely misunderstood me as a dropout by only looking at the education section. When I clarified this, Victor, unable to leverage education as a means of dominance, retorted, "Even so, you're someone who quits companies quickly." Indeed, I have changed jobs 5 times in the 7 years since returning to my home country, each time for specific reasons. The first resignation was because my ideas were considered too complex and bothersome. The second time, harassment ensued after I was accused of being arrogant due to my performance. I might have endured the harassment if it only affected me, but once it impacted our clients, I had no choice but to resign. These experiences, being labeled as showing off for working hard or incompetent for not doing enough, led to my frequent job changes. That's why I sought a role with minimal interaction, finding the copying and data entry tasks assigned by Victor, ironically meant as harassment, actually appealing. I had even hoped to spend my entire workday on these tasks, content if not for Victor's public attempt to sabotage me. What's all this noise? Did something happen? President Philip, alerted by the commotion in the conference room where the training was taking place, appeared with some executives, inquiring about the disturbance. The 200 employees fell silent as President Philip entered, his presence bringing an abrupt quiet after the preceding commotion. Puzzled by the sudden silence, President Philip queried Victor, the training's coordinator, about the incident. Victor's attempt to explain was incoherently muddled. Subsequently, President Philip sought clarity from Rebecca, who was nearby and familiar with the events. Rebecca comprehensively recounted the training's content, Victor's actions towards me, and how I effortlessly solved the complex problem. She concluded that someone like Victor, who disrespects his employees, was unsuitable for a leadership role. Despite Rebecca being his favorite employee, Victor couldn't accept her critique and defensively remarked to President Philip, questioning the credibility of a woman based solely on her appearance. President Philip, visibly angered by the comment, retorted, "Are you saying my daughter is just a pretty face?" The revelation that Rebecca was his daughter shocked everyone, with surprised expressions evident across the room. Victor's complexion drained of color. Rebecca, sighing, expressed her dismay to President Philip for disclosing her relationship to him amidst the ensuing chaos, rendering the training unviable. President Philip instructed Victor to take leave and asked Rebecca to arrange for food delivery, transforming the intended training session into a social gathering aimed at fostering communication, per President Philip's directive. As the social event commenced, I was inundated with inquiries, ranging from why I concealed my Oxford University education to why I hadn't leveraged my French proficiency. While addressing these queries, some attendees also sought explanations on phonics and the curriculum at Oxford University. I endeavored to elucidate these topics in a straightforward manner, engaging the interest of even the bystanders who began posing various questions. Rebecca then suggested that I might have a knack for teaching, acknowledging her identity as the president's daughter prompted the employees to give us space, facilitating easier conversation. She shared her preference for working as a regular employee to avoid undue attention. Reflecting on the revelation of her identity, she mentioned her discomfort with how it unfolded. Upon inquiring about my frequent job changes, I disclosed the reasons, including my aptitude for detailed tasks and a strong work ethic. However, I also admitted to resigning from positions not solely due to interpersonal issues, but because I was battling depression. This confession led to an apology from Rebecca, who felt her question might have been intrusive. The foreign high school I attended emphasized a non-competitive environment, focusing on diversity instead of ranking students by grades or celebrating achievements in sports or arts. It was a culture of acknowledging and respecting each other's differences and striving to improve together. Perhaps due to this influence, I grew up to be an adult who is very uncomfortable with competition. I tried to share my methods and knowledge with my colleagues, but that made me seem like a troublesome know-it-all. Gradually, this took a toll on my mental health, and I ended up resigning from my last 2 jobs within 6 months. That's when I realized I was suffering from depression, and now I'm able to work thanks to medication and counseling. Rebecca was concerned that Victor's harassment might have worsened my condition, but my issue was solely with competitive environments. Living abroad, it's not uncommon to encounter racial discrimination and derogatory remarks. Thanks to that, I've become accustomed to ignoring such sarcasm and mild harassment. Victor's behavior fell within the range of what I could ignore, so it wasn't a problem for me. In fact, my doctor mentioned that I might soon be able to stop taking medication as my depression was nearly in remission. Rebecca flashed a relieved smile, but then she left with a meaningful grin. Later on, a personnel announcement revealed that Victor, who had been suspended, was demoted and transferred. I was also ordered to transfer from the International Business Department to the HR department. Despite saying I wasn't good at interpersonal relations, I was moved to HR. Though I was unhappy, Rebecca assured me it would be fine, so I somewhat accepted it. Rebecca was transferred to the secretarial department, preparing to become the next president. Years later, I was promoted to department head. It turned out I had a knack for personnel training, and the employees I trained performed well in every department. After the incident with Victor, the company overhauled its training program, with the HR department taking charge. I was unexpectedly put in charge of employee training, and it turned out to be quite popular. I was worried that my training, being someone who dislikes social interactions, would be worse than the one that used prestigious university entrance exam questions. However, one day, when I introduced phonics, which many employees were interested in, their foreign language skills significantly improved. Lately, due to employee preferences, the focus on foreign language skills and training programs has become a significant concern. But Rebecca is thrilled that improved foreign language skills could enhance the company's profits. I know this because Rebecca and I recently started dating. She confessed to me after I was recognized for my achievements in personnel development and promoted to department head. Apparently, she had harbored feelings for me since our days in the International Business Department. When I inquired why she chose someone like me, quiet and a bit on the heavier side, she mentioned that it was my modesty combined with my abilities that she found most appealing. Despite my self-perception, others seemed to regard me as humble. With Rebecca's encouragement towards my physical well-being, I've managed to get into better shape, enhancing my overall well-being. Amidst this joy, I stumbled upon whispers that I was being considered for the company's next president. Given that Rebecca was anticipated to take that role, I questioned her about the authenticity of these rumors. She replied that nothing was set in stone, yet the current president appeared to show a preference for me, as hinted at in informal discussions regarding my potential presidency. Rebecca voiced her own reservations about her fitness for the presidency. Moreover, the prospect of me steering the company could inadvertently foster a competitive atmosphere, which I wished to avoid. Nonetheless, the thought of assuming the presidency intrigued me. Noticing my concern, Rebecca chuckled, suggesting that merging our strengths would ideally suit us for leadership. Her laughter was contagious, making me wish for such a synergistic solution. Although I lack Rebecca's assertiveness and decisiveness, the possibility of becoming president has motivated me to embrace a more confident stance, determined not to disappoint the president, Rebecca, or myself. Alone, my impact might be limited, but with the support of those around me, I'm driven to meet their expectations. Gradually, I am committed to diligently addressing each challenge that comes my way, ensuring I never overlook the effort required to surmount them.